how would you like to see me create three different chapters for my ebook using three different styles using the tool Jounce AI? Let's go. There you are. I am now going to convince people to hire a social media manager as my chapter one. And to convince them, I'm going to use different kinds of ways. Okay. We're not going to make the listicle again and stuff like that. I'm going to use the magical thing called command. Can you type it in the chat room? When I say command, I mean you can tell it to do anything. Say in the chat room. Anything means anything. And I think this is the reason why the ChatGPT became so popular because you can actually ask it anything. Okay, it's literally anything. So let's see what I do with this one. As chapter one of my book. Okay, I'm gonna ask you. You are an expert in. So I tell ChatGPT. This is not ChatGPT. This is Jounce. You are an expert in social media management. I tell it that it's an expert, like Mary Smith, one of the people that I'm with. I'm inside the inner circle of Mary Smith. She's the Facebook queen. You're like the goddess of Facebook, like Mary Smith. Write a chapter. So I'm actually asking it to pretend he is Mary Smith, the chatbot. Or the not the chatbot, Jounce, the AI. You're like the goddess of Facebook. Write a chapter's worth of friendly advice to medium-sized businesses. Why? Look at this. Why? So not only is it going to make an article, it has to write like Mary Smith, who's an expert in social media management. Anything means anything. Why hiring an in-house social media manager is not as good as getting a 100% remote Filipino social media manager. So that's my chapter. All right. Pay attention to how I do this because this is part of what you're gonna learn in ChatGPT 101. Included listicle in your chapter. I want a listicle. I want a joke. You see that? I want three items. A quiz in the chapter. And put the answer and three stories. Put three stories of hypothetical. Oh, this part is funny. Hypothetical business success. This is a chapter with a joke, a quiz, three stories, and a list. Don't say it's hypothetical. Click generate. Tchanan! There's the article. So there's an introduction, there's a title. Just scroll a little bit. You're not convinced? Here's my list. One, two, three, four, five. And after it makes the list, of course it does something else because I told it to make, don't just give me a list, you put another list to top it all. Why you should hire a remote Filipino, blah, 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 blah. Now, this one is almost a repeat of the top list, but that's okay. This is not perfect, but good. It's a great opening. Then it gives you a quiz. You see that? It gives you a quiz. Now, the quiz is almost the same as the content. That's fine because you didn't even have to write it. And then it comes with a bulleted list which contains stories of a clothing store, a restaurant, and a boutique. That's the chapter. It's not finished because here comes the final thing, which is that joke. It's not finished. It has to come up with a joke. It ends the thing with a joke. Joke. What did the social media manager say with the client? Ask for a discount. I'll give you a like. It's not funny, but it's a joke. Then if you're unhappy, just press R. Okay. It's gonna make a new one. Press R. Tell me, is this not groundbreaking? What I just made it do. A whole chapter. Quiz, story, joke, list. Do you think your not very good, well trained person can actually do a little editing on this list? If you're not happy, you just press R. What kind of world is it? When you're unhappy with an essay, you press R, and then out comes a brand new chapter one. If your brain is not exploding at this point, something is wrong. Okay, something is wrong. By the way, this is opportunity, and at the same time, it's risk. Opportunity for you is to, if you understand this, you wrap your head around this, then you can take advantage, right? I tell you what else it can do because it's not enough to discuss it now. And you need to go to the Chat GPT 101 course or the Chat GPT 202 courses so you can really use it for something. And for many of you, this is a new skill. This is not just, okay, press R is not the skill. Did you see how I typed it? That's the skill. It's called prompt engineering, and it's the next level skill in the world of AI. If you don't know your prompt engineering, you don't know AI. All right? So that's it. I saved that. I'm going to make a new document, as you can see already. I'm going to make a brand new document. Chapter 2. Ready for chapter 2, guys? At least say something, right? Because I'm explaining to you how this would work. Now, Another chapter, I don't want to use that style. I want to use Quora Answers, which is a very specific feature of this app, Jounce, which is you state a question instead of make me a list, make me a joke and stuff like that. This is in the style of Quora, which is a very popular website for really intelligent answers. Okay, so I'm asking you to create a set of myths for about hiring social media managers because I know my reader is afraid, okay, to hire social media managers who are remote. Okay, so my question initially is myths about hiring remote social media managers. My tone of voice must be fun and witty because I want it. And I also said, give me 10 myths. The question is, what are 10 myths? Because I have to state it like a question. What are the top 7 myths? Whatever. And I also say, include your answer must include. So this is me guiding the content, which is very good. Fear based, heavy, emotion. So this is how I want it right. Parang you tell your gardener, I want you to water the flowers, but the roses are like this. The daisies you flower in the afternoon, and the cactus never touch them. So that's very specific. And off it goes. Makes 10 myths. That's it. Sorry, I was talking too long. Now it's 7 myths. It made that 7 myths. Enough for a chapter, including explanation. Notice it already stopped using long sentences because I said so, and now the sentences are shorter. And I read this. It's kind of good. It's good enough so that I can use it. So, three, they're difficult to manage. They're expensive. They're risky. That's so good. It's so good that I can just add in a little bit, like one more sentence, or put a small example per line, or even some lines, and then that's it. That's my chapter. How do you make a chapter better? Just add images. That's it. I don't even have to press R because I'm happy with this chapter. Okay. Do you understand what is happening? This is Quora. This Quora template they have here in Jones. It's way better. I can use this thing as is, no edits, or I can actually do it again. Try again. Okay. So that's 2 chapters for you. How do you feel right now? As a third chapter. Okay, third chapter. Even I don't know what's about to happen. Chapter. It's not actually chapter 2, John. Alright, I'll let you. Fear based. My chapter headings are, what do you call this? Off the top of my head lang. So this is a fear-based myth based on a remote worker or a virtual professional when you're applying to become the SMM of a business. So this is not a business owner's fear. This is your fear. The person who wants to. So I go back to core answers. Do exactly the same thing. Okay. So now I have point of view of the business owner hiring a VA, remote social media manager. Now I have the remote social media manager's fears because my book is about two of them. So this is the point of view of a newbie. So 10 fear-based factors, and the information the newbie knows how to manage social media for his own or her own, but no experience in managing company, afraid to for company. So that's the point of view. And I'm just explaining it may be too much for her. Assure her with real examples. See, all I'm doing is telling it what to do of real companies. Give me real examples of real companies who actually use remote teams to manage their social media. Aba, no? That's prompt engineering. Use emotional language. Emotional damage. Okay, assuring when mentioning company concepts, always use ano pa? Story examples. And ano pa? Talk to me like I'm 11 or something. Like I'm in high school. Period. It's really long prompt because and your tone has to be fun and anyway, that's it. It made the assurance. I read it. It's excellent. Don't worry, there are plenty of businesses out there who use remote teams, blah, blah, blah. With one, there's an example of Flutterwave, there's an example of, I can't read behind me. If you scroll, you see different kinds of company. Buffer is here, there's another company here. This part here, nawala yung example niya. This one here is GitLab. So these are actual companies that have remote Hootsuite. Bottom line, it made the article in a different way based on what I said. And that is chapter 3. And with that, I would like to cut short the presentation for the demos because there are three more chapters. The three more chapters, but we're going on too long. I want to address your questions if you have them. If you don't have questions, then it's time for you to tell me, GP, or you want to let this pass you by. Because that's just the very tip of the proverbial big gold rush.